Hello everyone, this is Dr. RMD, Pediatric Resident at PGIMR Dr. RML Hospital, New Delhi, and this is the part 3 of debunking the myth series based on INI-CET PYQ analysis and revision strategy for upcoming INI-CET 2024 exam. So we had discussed pathology in part 2, and now we'll be going ahead with pharmacology. So in pharmacology, we'll be seeing how marks distribution has been over the last 7 INI-CET question papers. So you'll see here total 126 questions have been asked, and this is the second highest question that have been asked from a subject in INI-CET. Okay, and out of this 126 questions, you will notice that highest number of questions have been asked from CNS topic. So CNS pharmacology, 30 questions out of 120 have been asked. That accounts to almost 1/4. That is 25% of the questions were asked from CNS pharmacology. Then second highest stands in general pharmacology part. 21 questions have been asked. Antimicrobial part, 20 questions have been asked, and rest of them few questions have been asked. So topics like CVS, RS, endo, renal, hemat, all these topics, less than 1-digit questions have been asked in the last 7 INI-CET question papers. Okay, so bulk of this is formed by general pharmacology, CNS pharmacology, and antimicrobials. Okay, so when you study pharmacology, you have to study in this order. First go through CNS pharmacology, then come to general pharmacology, then go to antimicrobial, then go to ANS, and then if you get time, you go to the systemic parts, and that will tell you what to study in systemic. Okay, you don't have to study everything. So moving to the INI-CET Pharmac trend, so it has been consistently between 20 to 17 questions. So around 18 to 20 questions can be expected every year from pharmacology. That is a good amount of questions. So this year also expect around 18 to 20 questions. There haven't been much fluctuations in pharmacology. Okay. So what are the topic-wise graphical representations? See this general part, okay, this part, and CNS part, and this antimicrobial part. So these three part it does almost 53% of the total INI-CET questions. Okay, this part carries that much weightage. Okay, and add to this ANS also, because it is related to general pharmacology. Add ANS, and oncology and immunology will be going towards almost 80% of the total topic. Okay, so if you start with RS, endo, or hemat, or you start with CVS, where you start with anti-arrhythmic drugs, all these questions are rarely asked. Okay, so this is the trick that you should know when you start preparing for, or when you revise for INI-CET. So let's dwell into a bit depth. Okay, so what is the proportion of clinical based questions? Clinical based questions in pharmacology is increasing, as I told in part 1 of my video. So here maximum questions have been asked from antimicrobials. So antimicrobials carry maximum clinical based questions. Okay, and ANS, anti-inflammatory, also carries. CNS also carries 11 questions. 11 questions out of total these clinical based questions have been from CNS. This is maybe because psychiatry is related to CNS pharmacology, also CNS medicine is also related. There is a triangle between this, and in between comes this NIMHANS, because NIMHANS has this neuro portions given to it for preparing exam questions. Okay, so maybe NIMHANS is involving too much, that's why they are giving so much of CNS pharmacology related, which are related to psychiatry, and in turn related to neuro. Okay, problem based questions have been asked from general pharma. So far 3 problem based questions have been asked. Okay, so you have, in general pharma, when you study, you have to solve those QBank modules. I specifically stress upon this: solve QBank modules. Okay, QBank modules of pharmacology problems, because you can't solve that just by watching your videos or theory part. Okay, image based questions have been asked from antimicrobials, and mind this time also one question definitely will be asked: antimicrobials, cell wall layers where the drug acts. Okay, like for example azoles, which antifungals, act on which fungal cell wall layer, or beta lactams act on which layer. Okay, so these type of questions are very frequently asked, so don't ignore images in pharmacology, in antimicrobials especially. Okay, and recent updates in pharmacology have many times been asked from oncology and immunology. So I know that it is very difficult to remember all those names, but be in touch with those questions which have been asked, because in 2022 around 2-3 questions were asked just on checkpoint inhibitors. Okay, so these checkpoint inhibitors are very important, so some upcoming topics are really very important. Okay, so how to divide topic wise? So once you go to CNS pharmacology, what to study? So you don't have to study entire CNS pharmacology. If you see last 7 years of question paper, 13 questions have just been asked on anti-epileptics. Anti-epileptics, 13 questions, which means around 2 questions per year have been asked on anti-epileptics. Okay, antipsychotics and antidepressants, 18 questions have been asked. This is in link with psychiatry topics. Okay, again in psychiatry I'll tell you how CNS pharmacology is very important there. Okay, so if you are studying psychiatry, club psychiatry with CNS pharmacology, it is very easy to study. Migraine 3 questions have been asked, dementia 2, opioids again 7 questions have been asked, and most of these were clinical based questions like meiosis is present, constipation is present, etc. These type of questions are asked. Okay, so CNS to combine has 5 topics which are very important: anti-epileptics, antipsychotics, opioids, migraine, and dementia. These are repeatedly asked. If you miss this question, then you are creating a blunder. Okay, coming on to renals. Renals also very specific questions have been asked, and very specific questions have been asked on thiazide diuretics. Okay, diuretics again, potassium sparing diuretics. Okay, so diuretics, loop diuretics, thiazide diuretics, expect almost 7 to 8 questions have been asked, which means yearly 1 or 2 questions have been asked on loop diuretics only. So don't miss diuretics. Renals is a small topic, so don't miss diuretics. And again, drugs which are not to be used in renal impairment, or how to adjust renal doses. Okay, so 2 questions have been asked there. Okay, so these 2 topics are very important in renal. Then coming to endocrine, diabetes mellitus, again treatment of diabetes, which are the insulins that are used, oral hypoglycemic agent, their side effects. All these are very important topics. So if you study whole of endo and you miss diabetes and treatment of treatment in diabetes mellitus, then you are creating a blunder. Okay, so don't miss diabetes mellitus. And rest questions are asked for 1 marks only. That is mainly reproductive, where hormonal replacement therapy, etc. are asked. Okay. Then coming to antimicrobials, highest questions have been asked on vancomycin and penicillin, beta-lactams. Highest number of questions have been asked. COVID-19 treatment was asked earlier. Now questions again are decreased. I said azole antifungals. Mainly questions are asked where the antimicrobial cell wall layer, in which layer of fungal cell wall layer this azole antifungals work. Okay. ATT has been asked many times. Antimicrobial mechanism of action, especially the target size ribosomes or DNA gyrase enzymes. So these are asked many times. Okay, and what are the ATT side effects? So ATT is important, HIV drugs are important. Okay, I'll add HIV drugs also to this. Okay, so these are the few very important topics in pharmacology, antimicrobials. Okay, so you don't have to study everything. You have to select your topics and then you have to study. Okay, see, for example, in this antihelminths are not asked. Okay, antihelminths have been maybe asked once, so it doesn't carry much of a significance. Okay, then coming to RS, again RS 1 or 2 questions have been asked. I don't suggest you to read. If you want to read, just read asthma, nothing else. Then oncology part, LCH has been asked, Langerhans and histiocytosis. Okay, cyclosporine has been asked, and this anti-cancer drug side effects mainly have been asked. Okay, then coming to CVS, again the only concession question is statin, that has been only asked 2 times. Antiarrhythmic drugs are asked 1 or twice, that's all. Okay, calcium channel inhibitors, anti-hypertensives, antiarrhythmic drugs have been asked 2 times. Okay, and then dilated cardiomyopathy, fibrates, all these are asked only once. Okay, so you don't have to dwell so much time. So you have to give time to those questions which are 100% sure that it will be repeated, just like CNS pharmacology, like anti-epileptics, like antidepressant, antipsychotic. There is no scope for mistake there. So what is the revision strategy for pharmacology? CNS questions mainly are clinical questions, maybe related to psychiatry, or maybe because NIMANS is preparing. So they are going to be tough also, but they are going to be carrying high weightage also. So you have to be very prepared for CNS pharmacology. Second, expect problem-based questions from general pharmacology. 3 problems have been asked so far. You can expect 1 more in this upcoming exam also. Antimicrobial images, don't miss, because every year 1 question has been asked on where the drug acts on this microbial cell wall layer. Okay, and recent updates mainly focus on anti-cancer drugs. So this year INSA 2024 question paper, pharmacology will be containing 17 to 20 questions, and between 17 to 20 questions you can expect around 7 to 8 questions from CNS pharmacology, 5 to 6 questions from CNS pharmacology, around 4 to 5 questions from general pharmacology. Okay, ANS 1 or 2 questions will be there, and antimicrobials you can expect again 5 questions. Okay, so this will be roughly the pattern how 8 questions will be asked this year. Okay, and in the next upcoming 4th part of the video we'll be discussing microbiology. Okay, thank you.